aloha. Welcome back. I am Fleur, the face behind Aloha Monday Teaching, where I help middle school science teachers like me and you be more intentional, prepared, and just refreshed for Monday and any day. So we're the best for our students. Today, we're talking all about getting our students' attention. And anything I mention below, any like books, blog posts, videos, whatever, anything I mention or anything related to this topic will be in the description below. So be sure to check that out. So this is based on the blog post, 5 super quick ways to get students' attention. And as you know, as a middle school science teacher, or just really any teacher that may be watching this, we need to be able to get our students' attention pretty quickly. So how do we do that without yelling or to the point where we're frustrated? So I don't know about your classes, but I'm going to guess that they're very similar to mine. We have some loud classes, especially our like the humongous classes, right? And they can't always hear when they can't hear me when I need their attention. So what do we do about that? So that's what we're going to explore today. Some 5 super quick ways to get their attention. So today we're going to talk about some times when we need their attention, the brain and how it responds when it how we get the attention of the RAS in our brain, and 5 strategies that we can do to get our students' attention. All right, so here are some times that we might need their attention. Now, as you know, middle schoolers, they come into class and they're ready to socialize. It's like, oh, I haven't seen you since passing time. I haven't seen you in an hour. Okay, so they're very social. They just want to talk to each other. So we need to be able to get their attention at the beginning of class, throughout the lesson, and that kind of thing. We would need their attention when we're going to transition between activities. Number 3, this is one I do seriously really often. We send them off to work, right? And then we realize, oh my gosh, I forgot to tell you this. Hold on, I need your attention. So you need a way to get their attention so you can stop them and tell them what you forgot to tell them. 4, we need their attention when it's time to clean up and to discuss what we learned. And the 5th one might be there's an announcement over the intercom or admin comes in to say something. So those are just some times that we might need their attention. All right, so let's talk about the brain and how it responds when we get our students' attention. So it is, as you know, it's important that we have their attention first before we give them a direction or give them information. We need their brains to focus on what we're going to say to them. So the part of the brain that filters information and tells us what to focus on is called the RAS, which is a really cool thing. So it's the reticular activating system. It's just a bundle of nerves back here in your brain that do this. It's a very important job. And so we have the ability to activate the RAS in our students' brains. So besides just the attention getting signals that we'll talk about in a few minutes, or not even a few minutes, in a moment, there are some other strategies that you can do to activate your students' RAS while you're teaching them. So during your lessons or just throughout your class period. These strategies will get them to focus on you and what you're going to say, because they, just like us, that we have so many things going on around us that our brains, it would be too much if we had to focus on every single thing. So it filters unnecessary things out, focuses on the right thing. So as teachers, we might tell a story. We could use novelty, like images, activities. For example, you notice something new in your room. So let's say you're sitting, like you walk into your classroom and you've already, like, you know what your desk looks like. It looks the same every day. Maybe you have a pile of papers to grade or something, but there's something different, something new. There's a Starbucks sitting at your desk with a note on it, right? That's novelty. Your RAS is like, oh, it's activated. Look at this new thing. Like you notice it right away. Then you're focused on it. You can use different voices. This gets your students' RAS focusing on you. So you might use your tone, like use a deep voice, or use a really loud voice or a soft voice, or maybe use a different accent, like a British accent or something. I'm not good at accents, but so those kinds of things will get your students' attention. And finally, you can walk around the room and then stop at important parts of your lesson. All right, so let's talk quick strategies that can get your students' attention. This way, you don't have to yell. Some of them, you don't even have to use your voice. All right, so we're going to talk about using sounds, music, clapping, chants or call and respond, and silence. So I guess the only one really using is our voices is for call and respond, maybe. All right, so sounds. You can use different things, sounds to get your students' attention. For example, for the first 16 years of my teaching career, I used that ding bell, ding, and then I would get the students' attention that way. Now I have a doorbell, which I like, but it's not as effective in my larger classes because they're much louder. They can't hear the doorbell. So I have to use other strategies there. I've seen people use chimes. I've seen the rain stick, that kind of stuff. So sounds is one. Along with sounds, we have music. We can use music to get our students' attention. This one's pretty cool. So long time ago, and if you know my story, you know that there was a time when I literally almost stopped teaching, which I'm so thankful that I took this one professional development class that one summer that changed everything for me. So, this training that I went to many years ago called Impact Teaching, she used the song Ain't No Mountain High Enough to, and I think that's what it's called. It goes like, Ain't no mountain high enough. You know what I mean? Okay. So she played that song every time she needed our attention, when it was time to stop, when it was time to transition, and it was so effective. And so I think music would be great. You just need to be prepared. So what you could do is choose one or two songs for the week or for that month. That way you change it up. But I would go at least one song a week. That way it's the same song for 5 days and then they're used to it. So you could do that and then just have your computer ready to go so you can just press play, or have a Bluetooth speaker in your phone in your pocket so you can press play at any moment that you need to play the song. And something that would be even cooler is by having the kids list some songs that they would want, and then obviously, school appropriate, but then you can play one of their songs for that week as your attention getting signal. Clapping, you can clap your hands in a pattern to get your students' attention. So that could look something like, so the teacher would go, and then some students would repeat it. Teacher. More students. Teacher. All students. Because it just trickles, and then every student eventually you have their attention. So clapping your hands, that works in middle school. Also, it's not just for elementary, it's not just for music teachers. So that's one simple way that you can get students' attention. The other one is by using chants or call and respond. So here's kind of like the clapping, but this one you can use a lot of different things. To me, it reminds me of Simon Says. If you hear me clap once, students clap. If you hear me, put your hands on your head. If you hear me, touch your nose. If you hear me, tell your neighbor to stop talking, that kind of thing. So eventually you have all the students' attention. This one is from Cynthia on Facebook. She tells the kids, hands on top, everybody stop. And so her kids would put their hands on the top and then they would stop. I've heard this used before. Teacher says, waterfall. And the students go, shh. And then they're all quiet and they're listening. This next one comes from Whole Brain Teaching for Challenging Kids and the rest of your class too. This is, I love this one. So whenever you say class, the students respond with yes. And then when you're teaching it, it says, however you say class, they say yes. So you say class, yes. Class, yes. Classy class, yesy yes, that kind of thing. And then when I use when they're discussing in groups, I say something like, okay, wrap up your conversations in 3, 2, 1. And then they're all done. And then we get to share and move on. All right, the final one is, sorry, wrong slide. Silence. You can stand in silence to get your students' attention. How many of you have tried this? Especially at like the end of the day. I think every year, every school, every end of the day class, like kids are done, you're pretty done, but there's still learning to happen and everything. So instead of like getting to the point where you're getting frustrated, just stand there in silence. Plus it models like behavior to just kind of relax and calm down. So you just stand there and you just look at the class. I don't really smile when I do this because I want them to know that I need them. I do this when they're at their desks, not when they're at the lab stations, because they won't notice me if they're at the lab stations. Sometimes I'll change and I'll go like this and I'll like, or I'll tap the table, or I'll look at my watch or something like that. Okay. What happens is a couple students will notice you and they'll be like, oh, they think they're in trouble, but they're not in trouble. You just need their attention. And they'll tell other kids, you guys be quiet. You guys, shh, and they'll get each other quiet. And then less than a minute, you've got all their attention. And then you just simply thank them. Okay, thank you for being ready. And then you do what you got to do. Give your information or your direction. So that's silence, and it's calming too. All right, so let's wrap this up. So we talked about a lot of things when it comes to getting your students' attention. We can save the holding your students' attention for another time. So we talked about times we might need our students' attention. We talked about how getting their attention or doing different strategies activates the RAS, the reticular activating system in their brain, so it has them focus on certain things. And then we talked about 5 quick strategies that we can use to get our students' attention. And that would be using sounds, music, clapping, chants or call and respond, or silence. And now it's your turn. So what are ways that you get your students' attention? And is there anything new that you will try? Just comment below and let me know. I'd love to hear from everyone. And then don't forget to like and subscribe so you get all of the, notifications and stuff when I put new videos up. And then check out these other videos that you might find useful in your classroom. And I'll talk to you soon. Thank you.